Every day here in PNN, I address the class on the status of our show or other things pertaining to PNN. Sometimes they are facts or even jokes, and while most of the class seems interested and entertained, there are those, well, one student actually, who finds it necessary to consistently add something to the conversation. If I say Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer to ever live, Dylan Certa is certain that he could find a way to beat him. These kinds of interruptions were quite hysterical at first, but now they are just plain annoying. It really seems that Dylan truly believes he may be the greatest person hands down that has ever lived. It finally boiled down when Dylan even challenged me to a series of events. Now, I'm a man of principle, however, I'm a busy man too. I do not ever like wasting time, and so if Dylan were to challenge me, someone of a professional, almost godlike caliber, he would have to prove himself first. So I decided that before any attempt could be made at me, Dylan would face off against PNN's Matt McLindon. Matt is not an athlete or really anything extraordinary for all that matters, but for the most part he's just a normal high school senior. Dylan thinks he can compete on a pro level, but if he can't even beat Matt at 7 of my hand-picked events, then Dylan will finally be brought back down to earth. We decided the boys would compete in 7 different contests, all of them thought up by me so that there would be no advantages to either side. I chose a good variety of activities that would test their athleticism, balance, and concentration. Matt guaranteed a victory, saying he would win 6 of the 7 contests, if not all of them. Dylan remained humble and let Matt do the talking going into the first challenge. The first contest was a simple game of ping pong. First one to 21 wins the game. This was a contest Matt was confident in, yet from the start, he had troubles even making contact with the ball. Neither player really knew what he was doing, so the contest came down to who could make the fewest mistakes, and in the end, it was all Dylan. He took the first challenge, 21-9.
No big deal, I'll let him have this one and let him go home crying. He won't win another event though.
Guess I found out something else that I'm good at.
Challenge 2 was a test of balance and concentration. 39 yellow cups and 1 red cup were stacked together, and each player had to constantly take a cup off the top and place it on the bottom until the red cup made its way back to the original spot. Matt went first and kept a pretty steady pace, but seemed to be more worried about the cups falling over than trying to go fast. He stumbled a couple times and it cost him, as he ended with a time of 1 minute 24 seconds. Dylan went after this challenge like a machine. No smiles, no jokes, just cup moving. His steady pace helped him to a 1 minute 17 second time, good enough for win number 2.
No big deal. It's only 2 events. I'm really not concerned. The worst part is that it's just going to boost his ego even more.
So that was pretty much a breeze for me.
Matt was shaking being down 2-0, but knew he could rebound in the singing portion of the contest. Both players had to choose 3 songs and then let his opponent choose the song to sing. Dylan went first and was eventually given Space Odyssey. He started out whispering the song, but later started belting it out. Matt and I kind of wished he would have kept whispering.
Planet Earth is blue, and there's no thing I can do.
But in the end, the computer gave him a 56%, and Matt was all smiles. Dylan chose Rascal Flatts' What Hurts the Most, and Matt went to town. He knew most of the words pretty well, but couldn't hit a note if his life depended on it. It all came down to the scoring, and wouldn't you know, the computer scored Matt at 55%, 1 point less than Dylan, giving Dylan a 3-0 lead.
I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
I'm happy I'm in the lead, but I got to give it to Matt. He's busting his butt out here to try to face up to me.
I mean, I'm a terrible singer, I'll admit it. He won't, but we're both pretty bad. He won by 1%, that's all I'm saying.
Yes, I am a good singer.
We were off to the one challenge Matt thought Dylan might actually win, BB gun target shooting. Each player would get 10 shots at a homemade target, we'd add up the point values, and the highest scored would win. Dylan went first and assumed the proper shooting position. He complained a lot that he wasn't getting to use his own gun, but hit the target every time. They added up the points and Dylan scored 42 points. Matt had troubles loading the gun, and quite honestly, I feared for my life being anywhere near him in this contest. In his first 4 shots, he didn't even score a point, but he later warmed up and got his eyes set. It was too little too late, however, as his measly 24 points wasn't enough for the would-be teenage Rambo.
It was just natural for me to win, and
I don't even know what to say. I don't think I'm coming to school anymore. This is the last time you're gonna see me.
So at this point, the challenge is basically over. Dylan has the 4-0 lead in the best of 7 events, and even if Matt wins the last 3, Dylan is still the champ. But we played them anyways, just so Matt could have the chance to save some face.
It's bittersweet because I know I'm going into it. I already have lost this contest. There's no way I can win now.
I'm pretty excited. Let's go for the next 3 events.
The guys played one-on-one basketball, and after some rough play, the score ended in Matt's favor, 10-3. We were then off to the track for a 3-lap race. I thought this one would be a little bit closer, but Matt took the lead and never looked back for the win. And finally, each player was given 1 minute to climb as many stairs as possible, and although they both started off strong, Matt climbed a few more for the win. So there you have it, a champion in his own mind. Dylan is now a champion in Matt's mind too.
You know what really gets me is that Dylan thinks he's like the best right now.
Bragging rights now belong to Dylan, and Matt can try to talk to him into double or nothing or whatever else he wants, and believe me, he has tried. But it's Dylan Certa who, for the time being anyways, is the PNN top dog.
So this is just my way of proving that I can back up what I talk.
I guess instead of bringing Dylan down to earth, we must now call this show Waking Matt Up to Reality.
A man like me, so irresponsible. A man like me is dead in places other men feel less.